Thank you very much, Chairperson. Mr. President, last week I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Sibusiso Mapatiana, an inspiring black entrepreneur in Ekurhuleni, who has built his business from nothing, but who stood in front of me, Mr. President, shaking with emotion and fury, telling me about how his business is on the brink of collapse. He has applied for permission to lay off dozens of his workers because the signed contracts which he fairly won and the orders that he has from Transnet have never been honoured. He told of the pain of having to explain face to face to these workers why he could not afford to keep them on. His office is decorated with South African flags, a real patriot and a champion that we should be nurturing and supporting. In his own words, Mr. President, he cut right to the heart of why your notion of radical economic transformation using the might of the state is nothing but a sham. Listen to what he said. The government is supposed to be supporting an entrepreneur like me, but the government is destroying me. In this one crucial respect, the ANC is carrying on a long and damaging tradition in South Africa. It is governing on behalf of some of the people and excluding others. While the ANC tries to tell us that it is governing on behalf of the poor, the reality is that the ANC governs on behalf of the party, not the people and not the poor. This is the story of the commitment to radical economic transformation. It is the work of a con artist, a sleight of hand, designed to deceive the public into thinking that you care about them. But the truth is this: radical economic transformation is nothing but a code word for radical corruption. The ANC has long abandoned the idea of real broad-based empowerment, if ever they believed in it at all. Empowerment, ANC style, is empowerment for billionaires and millionaires, and scraps for the rest. Under the banner of radical economic transformation, the President promised to use the power of the state to support black-owned business. But consider this: Eskom is used to funnel coal contracts to the Guptas and Zuma family members, even if it means the country must go without power. Radical land redistribution is code for giving farms to ANC ministers and cronies, not for creating black agricultural entrepreneurs. Black economic empowerment is a tool for massive empowerment deals for a connected few, not for actually turning workers into part owners of their businesses. The mining charter is not about improving the living conditions and working conditions of mine workers. It is a way to force companies like Goldfields has said publicly to choose their empowerment partner from a predetermined list, including the Honourable Speaker of this House. And even when you can confront the private sector, you just won't do it, because there is a crony in every boardroom and a comrade in every deal. So you do not act to bring down data charges for the poor. You don't end banking rip-offs for people on social grants, or help to break the cycle of debt that keeps so many people locked in a prison of stress and anxiety. You do none of those things because in every facet of the economy, the ANC in business relies on the ANC in government to keep the dirty money flowing thick and fast. This is the one thing that unites all of the candidates in the ANC's current succession battle. Whether it's Mr. Ramaphosa you're supporting or Mrs. Mbete, they may not be speaking to one another now, but they've all shared in the empowerment feast and filled their pockets along the way. And no matter which one of them wins, the feast will continue. It's just about who gets to sit at the top of the table. The ANC first, the people last. On the 20th of January, your government, Mr. President, quietly published new procurement regulations which completely abandon all previous broad-based empowerment policy. BEE should be used to broaden ownership, give workers a stake in their own companies, and create training, employment, and entrepreneurship opportunities for the lost generation. But now, finally, the fig leaf has fallen. Because according to these new regulations, no matter what other contribution companies have made in terms of their BEE scorecard, it's all irrelevant. All that counts now is narrow ownership. All of the contributions to finding and mentoring young black entrepreneurs, gone. All of the work in helping young black entrepreneurs access new supply chains, gone. All of the contributions to education, to training their workers, to buying locally, to giving their workers a stake in their businesses, gone, gone, gone. All of that is irrelevant to this government. All that counts is making sure that the right people get all the tenders. The only thing broad-based about it is the broad base of people that will pay for this organized theft through higher prices and harder living. It's easy to see where this comes from. Jimmy Manyi has been calling for this for 2 years. Brian Molefe has already been doing this at Eskom illegally, I will say, for over a year. And now you, Mr. President, have caved in and given the cronies what they've always wanted, a facade of legal legitimacy to their radical looting program. The ANC's message to South Africans now is this: you are less than us. Get to the back of the line. We're still eating. And remember, you owe us forever. The ANC is not on the side of the poor. It is not on the side of the people. It is the state against the nation, the ANC against the people. And by contrast, let me spell out who the DA is for. The DA is firmly on the side of all of the people who have been forgotten, marginalized, and left behind by the ANC. To those South Africans, the DA says, you are valuable, you are legitimate, and you are equal. And you have much more right to opportunity and a stake in our future than these will ever give you. The DA is for you. We are a party that fights for your interests, for the improvement of your lives, for new opportunities, and for a better life. Not just for some of the people, but for all the people. Wherever we govern, life gets better and better and better. Wherever we do not govern, corruption gets worse and unemployment grows. Chairperson, the Democratic Alliance is building a mighty movement of the excluded and the forgotten people. The time is coming for all of those who believe with us to join with us, so that together we can confront and tear down the wall that the ANC continues to build to divide us. We will take our values and our plan to rescue this lost generation into the thick of the fight for justice and opportunity for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.